Well, scrapbooking trends have changed drastically over the last few years, and we've invited Nancy and Nally from Scrapbook Update to come back and share some tips on how we can update our scrapbook pages, because Scrapbook Update is known for being on top of the trends. I know you keep up with those and have done for a long time, so what can you share with us? How can we do it easily?
We've got right here in front of us a layout that is very classic in scrapbook style, and it's made with current supplies. We're going to take a look at it, and I'm going to show you how, with just a few tweaks but keeping the same basic arrangement, you can actually update it and make it very trendy.
A little bit more modern, right?
That's right, a little bit more modern.
It's beautiful as it is, though.
It is. It's a very nice layout as it is. It's just not super trend forward, and we're going to tweak it and make it very trend forward.
Okay.
So here's where we're going to start.
That from you. There we go.
First thing we're going to do is change the background paper, and this looks really boring, but it's actually very trendy. This is craft paper, kind of like a grocery bag when I was younger. And I know designers who buy this stuff 100 sheets at a time and use it for their background on everything, which sounds, again, very boring and repetitive.
But it's very versatile. It's kind of like the pair of blue jeans that we've been wearing for years and years and years.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Always in style.
You don't feel it's boring to wear jeans every day. This is your scrapbooking jeans.
Right.
So when you do that, then that lets you indulge in one of the other big trends of the moment, and that is you can stamp on your background paper because you're not competing with a pattern.
Okay.
And then
do you have
once you're done with that,
there you go.
You can place your photos back where they were in the original design. Another huge trend at the moment is everybody is using pattern paper in strips.
Oh.
Cutting we're used to using huge chunks of pattern paper, but if you cut it into small strips like this, then you get to use a lot.
Yeah, it gives you a lot more options, more movement, flexibility.
Exactly.
It adds another dimension to your scrapbook page.
Exactly, and there's another advantage to doing it as well. You get to use the same pattern paper on lots of layouts.
That's true. Very economical.
Well, it's economical, and you also don't have to worry about, well, if I use this piece of paper on this layout, I won't have it on the next layout that I want to use it on. So you don't have to worry about hoarding it for the next thing that you want to use it on.
It helps you coordinate your pages throughout the album.
Yes, it does.
I know when I scrapbook, I don't scrapbook 12 by 12 per se, I scrapbook 12 by 24 because you actually see two pages laid out together, and it really does help when you can extend your supplies, so to speak, from one page to the next.
Right, so what we're doing here is we're creating a block of pattern paper out of strips. Some people will do their entire background out of large strips, or they'll do a photo mat out of strips. Strips of pattern paper, very hot right now.
Right, and I like the way that you've offset them. They're not lined up.
Yes, it gives movement. So this is what the block looks like finished. It's in the same position as the previous pattern block, but because it's made out of strips, it has a little more movement. It's much trendier.
It catches the eye. And I notice you haven't changed the photographs either. And you are using the same color schemes.
It is the same color scheme as the previous group of pattern paper. It's the same photographs. We're staying with all of that.
Okay.
Now, we're going to go to the stamped elements that were on the page, because stamping is still very trendy. And we updated this element. It's the same ticket stamp, but we just changed the element that was in the middle to make it a little more vintage retro, because vintage, very hot right now. So we're going to affix that to the layout. And then we're also going to do a few different other elements here. We're going to update the journaling block. We're going to include some story elements.
Right, because the journaling is the most important part, as well as the photographs.
And we're going to, instead of a decorative element underneath the journaling block, this is a stamped journaling block, by the way. The previous element was a digital journaling block, so stamping hot.
Right.
These are standing in for movie tickets.
Okay.
And we're going to do this.
Just one more stamp.
One more stamp here.
Okay. Well, Nancy, you've already done that here. Let me pass that on to you. And then you've just added some final elements.
Yeah, final elements. We've got our stickers that are coming back here. And we're going to put our
lettuce stickers. Well, Nancy, let's just compare that finished page with the original one.
Yeah, we've got a few key changes. We've got memorabilia instead of a decorative element. We've got the stamping and the vintage look here. We've got the pattern paper strips instead of just a solid block. And the craft paper background, very hot.
Very hot. Nancy, thank you so much. These are really great tips. And we'll be right back.